Welcome back to Barcelona. And Barcelona has a way of making the future feel present. You step onto the show floor here at Mobile World Congress and it's no longer just about connectivity. It's something else entirely. Machines that move, devices that anticipate, networks that don't just carry information, but begin to understand it. And somewhere here, between the humanoid robots, the glowing booths, and the quiet intensity of deal-making behind closed doors, you realize we've crossed the threshold. We're no longer just building faster networks. We're building intelligence into the infrastructure of everyday life. Welcome back to the Great Indoors, coming to you once again from MWC Barcelona 2026. Our fourth time here, and I've come to the conclusion, perhaps this is the most consequential yet. Because this year the conversation has shifted from speed to sensing, from connectivity to cognition. This season, we continue to explore not just what technology can do, but what it means. Because in a world increasingly shaped by AI, the real differentiator isn't capability, it's humanity. I'm your host, Matthew Roberts, and as always, I'm joined by my producer, the reliable, unflappable, the brilliant Larissa Yee. And today we welcome back a returning guest, albeit somebody who was on our first ever live show in Los Angeles back in 2021, and he sits at the very center of this entire transformation. Now, Don McGuire, today's guest, is the Chief Marketing Officer of Qualcomm, a company that, whether you realize it or not, has been powering the modern digital world for many decades. Now in his fifth year as CMO and over 10 years within the business, Don has helped transform Qualcomm from a kind of, I guess you would say, behind-the-scenes innovator into a brand that increasingly sits in the cultural foreground, most notably through the rise of Snapdragon. But what makes Don particularly compelling is the duality of his role. For all of us really in marketing, he represents a company that has been building and commercializing AI for a while, for a long time, before this latest AI boom, while simultaneously navigating AI as a marketing leader inside the enterprise. He sees both sides. And a moment like this, that really matters. Because at MWC this year, Qualcomm made a release, and I think it's so important, it reframes the entire industry. 6G, they argue, will be the first AI-native generation of wireless. Not just faster, not just lower latency as previous iterations have been, but fundamentally different. A network that senses what you see, hears what you hear, and enables entirely new forms of interaction between you, your devices, and the world around you. An ecosystem of you, your phone, your glasses, your car, your home, operating as a coordinated, intelligent system. And in that world, the role of the operator changes, from telco to AI operator, from pipeline to platform. And in this conversation, we explore what that shift really means, why the 5G narrative, focused on speed and specs, pretty much missed the mark, and how 6G must instead tell a story rooted in experience and value. We unpack the role of the modern CMO in an era defined by conflicting narratives between AI optimism and AI anxiety. And we get into something deeper. How do you embrace AI without losing the very thing that makes marketing work in the first place? Human connection, judgment, storytelling, personality. Because as Don puts it, this isn't about replacing people. It's about human-led and AI-powered. So, as we stand here in Barcelona, surrounded by innovation, ambition, and just a hint of chaos, one question sits at the center of it all. If the networks around us are becoming intelligent, what does it mean for us to remain human? This is the Great Indoors. Let's go. So here we are, MWC 2026, another year, another Monday morning.
Right.
I'm really excited to welcome our guest this morning. He was on the show way back in 2021 in Los Angeles at our first ever live show.
That's true.
So it's a pleasure to welcome you back.
Thanks for having me.
Don McGuire of Qualcomm. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Happy MWC.
No, I don't know whether it's deja vu or whether as you get older, it just seems to come around quicker, but it feels like I was here last week. And here we are for another year, and it's like, okay, here we go. But hopefully, and I think getting into this, Don, so early in the show,
sure,
we're not, things transpire as we go through the week.
Absolutely.
We come to a crescendo and a conclusion.
Yeah.
So, but just for our listeners, give us a background on your role and your history and your time at Qualcomm.
Absolutely. So I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Qualcomm, and I'm celebrating my 5th year in July of being the Chief Marketing Officer of this amazing company. It's been a fun, challenging, amazing journey, and still having fun. So I think that's the litmus test of a happy work life, is if you're still excited about coming into work every day after 5 years. So, like I said, it's been a great journey. Been with the company 10 years. This is my 10th year. Yeah. And been in tech pretty much my entire career, in both sales and marketing roles, and a little bit of general management. And we've just been on a tear, diversification and growth. And now we're at this amazing next technology inflection point with AI. Yeah. And so, things just are not slowing down.
And it's good because you are actually neighbours.
Yeah, we are your neighbour. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I've cast a glance over to your booth. It looks really exciting. You've got some really cool stuff on there. What are the highlights for you this year from the Qualcomm perspective?
Well, we have a few really important announcements that we've made. We've done Qualcomm, we pride ourselves as being this great sort of ecosystem enabler, and we bring people together, and through our partnerships, we drive technology forward. And so we had an announcement this morning in the area of 6G where we, because even though we're sort of several years away from commercialization, we're talking 2029, 2030, there's a lot of work happening now. And we've been at the forefront of every generation of wireless transition. So we gathered together 58 of our closest partners, and we put out a press release this morning talking about the importance of the work that we're all doing, preparing for 6G, and why 6G will be an important generational shift, because it will be the first AI native wireless sort of generation. So that was one of our big announcements today. Like I said, 58 different partners from entirely all over the ecosystem. Yeah. We have mobile operators from all over the world, from China to Europe to North America to Latin America. We have device makers. We have infrastructure partners like Ericsson and Nokia, et cetera. And so we have hyperscalers like Amazon and Microsoft. So it's a great show of collaboration, and that we are driving sort of with our partners this next generation. So that's one. Two, we in the personal AI space, we launched our first what we call AI native wearable platform. And it's our Snapdragon Wear Elite platform. And that's going to be our first platform that's going to enable this first generation of AI native devices that may not manifest themselves in the form of a phone or something else. And we're working with several different partners to bring some of these cool devices to market through and powered by the Snapdragon platform. And then we launched a agentic modem, which is 5G advanced base. It's our Qualcomm 105. Agentic modem, and that's kind of part of this journey to 6G. So those are three big announcements, and then we announced our Wi-Fi 8 platforms. So it's been fun. But in the booth, we've got humanoid robots, we've got robotic arms, we've got really technical demos, we've got more sort of sizzle demos and product experiences. So it is a potpourri of technology on display. The booth is buzzing and crowded as we like to see it. So
brilliant. Well, it's going to be a great week, and I'm going to dive down into some of those pieces in a little bit more depth.
Sure.
But one thing that I recall was a year ago you were on the CMO panel with Laura Dewar and with my boss Gil Roselle.
Right.
And we talked, or you guys were talking about the importance of the CMO in this world that we live in now.
Right.
How important is your role and the role of every CMO in this industry now we're in this AI world? Because there's this, it drives me nuts, to be honest, the conflicting narratives.
Yes.
Right. On one's either doomsday.
Yeah.
And the other one is like overhyped. This is the most incredible thing ever. Given those parameters and given your role, how important is a CMO now in navigating all of that conflicting narrative?
Well, I think in general, regardless of AI, the role of the CMO as a growth driver has never been more important.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the world, as we all know, but navigating through that on behalf of your products and your company and your stakeholders, the role of the CMO has never been more challenging, more fulfilling, but more important. And I'm lucky to have the support of my boss, our CEO, Cristiano Amon, in that endeavor. And then you add AI into the mix. I think from a pragmatic perspective, I get to wear kind of two hats when it comes to AI. One is I work for a company that's been commercializing, researching, and developing AI for about 14 years. And then I'm a CMO of a large enterprise who's having to deal with AI as part of my marketing transformation. And so from the CMO perspective, it's not going away. Like if you're trying to avoid it and bury your head in the sand and dream it away, it's not going to happen. So you might as well embrace it. And now it's going to be a matter of experimentation, navigation, and then putting tools to work as part of the function of marketing or sales or finance or whatever your function may be. And how you integrate it into those workflows is going to define success or not. And so we've been adopting AI tools for over 2 years now. We have a great process at Qualcomm for vetting tools, bringing them through safely, enterprise ready. And we've seen lots of productivity gains and we've seen some early numbers. But it's really about being human-led and AI-powered. Yeah. So we put those two things together. And if you look at them in isolation, it's not going to work for you. You have to integrate them into your people's workflows. Yeah. And the human touch has to be sort of strung across it at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And that's the only way you can sort of A, protect your IP, B, be authentic, still deliver, whether it's a marketing asset or a campaign or whatever it might be, in a way that will resonate and won't sort of result in backlash. So it's really, from a pragmatic perspective, it's really about how you build your organizational structure and how you define the work that you do and the steps in that work, and then take AI and use it for what it's meant to be used for. Yeah. And if you do that, I think you don't have to be afraid. It is showing amazing signs of being helpful. And so we've embraced it full on. It's working well for us. We're going to take it to the next level here soon. Yeah. But, I really have no complaints with regards to how we're looking at it. But I know there's still people out there that are in fear, to your point, and really don't know where to start. I think that's the biggest thing. I speak a lot about AI when I'm on panels and doing presentations and to other marketeers. And I think the biggest thing that I see in people's eyes in the audience is just they don't know where to start. And so I think that's the biggest issue. And I think for us, it all started with forming the AI Council, made up of legal and IT and all the concerned stakeholders, and then vetting tools and bringing them through and trial and error and starting from an eval state, moving to a deployment state, and then a scale state. So that's kind of how we're looking at it.
Now, it's really interesting, like you said, the dichotomy of, you're representing a company that's building and developing AI, but then you're dealing with it in your everyday as a marketer.
Right.
And you're a natural storyteller, you're a great communicator, you bring that human touch.
Thank you.
And I think you said it really well then, it's how AI factors in the human world as opposed to humans trying to work in an AI world. Right? And I think one of the things that, again, I wouldn't say is a beef of mine is I don't want people to get lazy and atrophy the skills that we just talked about because they offload everything to AI.
Exactly.
And when I see that in social media or anything, it always kind of drives me a bit crazy. And it's this human connection from a marketing perspective that I think is our, invaluability, if you will, as we move forward.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, look, there's a lot of transactional, task-oriented work that can be offloaded, again, as part of a workflow process. Yeah. And that should actually free people up to think more strategically or be better critical thinkers or maybe get a little bit of their life back and be happier at work because they're not bogged down in taskmastership. And those are all good things. So again, if you apply it to where it can be truly helpful, but then you add that sort of secret sauce of human ingenuity and strategic thought and guided along the way, I think that's sort of the recipe for success. And where we're seeing this impact differently across sort of generations and of workers within our workforce is, the leadership is all in, right? And they're the ones supporting and driving and sending setting the narrative and sending the messages of how we're going to do this. Our younger employees that are coming in AI native, right? So they're not afraid. Because a lot of, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're using AI every day in their life to have fun. Like, it's fun. I mean, if you've ever been to Sora, like Sora's fun. So they're not afraid. It's really the middle that I think we all have to worry about. And it's people that have been maybe in your group or working for your company for a long time. They're used to doing things a certain way, and change is hard. And it's not really a matter of upskilling. Upskilling is sort of an overused word. It's sort of like rethinking. And retraining people. And there are some that will embrace it and be all in. There's some that won't. And that's where the problems and the sort of the tension will be. But hopefully that's few and far between and you can work yourself through it. So like we're overall excited about it. You mentioned earlier, there's the Pollyanna to the Armageddon sort of spectrum. And, we're not Pollyanna, but we're probably more on that positive end of taking the bull by the horns and making it work for us versus the other side.
You make a really interesting point there. And you got me thinking about my youngest daughter who's 11, and the way she operates with her smartphone and AI now is she didn't read a manual. She didn't read a book about it. This is how she's just started using it, and she's talking to it as a thought partner when she's doing her homework. She's an actress, so she's planning for auditions, and she's talking, how should I approach this role? And it's almost like a seamless interoperability with her and AI.
It's like a buddy.
Yeah, whereas other people, it's like, okay, maybe I can use it to write this for me. Right. I don't know, I'm not sure, here we go. I'm not, there's that uncertainty and hesitation. But the youngsters, the real youngsters, are going to teach the older generations the real value of this, whether they adopt it or not. And I think it's, in like you said, we've gone through all these technology transitions, and having a family, and you always talk about your work,
right?
But they can now tell you what they're doing with it, what they're thinking with it, and you learn from that. You're like, I never even considered that. I think we need to bring them here. I think they need to be at the show.
I think there are a lot of them at the show. I know a lot of my team over there at the Qualcomm booth have that same attitude, right? And it, like I said, it can be fun and not scary, and that's how they're getting, to your point, that's how they're getting exposed to it. They are using it for companionship and advice, and as a sounding board, and so which is fine. It's there's a inflection point where it can't teeter over into being the only connection that people have, because then that would kind of dehumanize relationships. But I think as an adjunct, right, as another set of eyes, another opinion, another perspective, as long as it's empathetic, as long as it's not hallucinating, and the reasoning is good, and the training is good, it can be helpful.
Like a thought partner.
Right, exactly.
Bouncing idea. I've got this idea, I'm just going to bounce it off you.
Right, exactly.
And it's really, really cool.
Well, and I think I heard a stat the other day that a lot of, young people would rather bring a sensitive subject up with AI first than maybe talking to their parents about it or their friends about it, because of that fear of judgment, or they don't know how they're going to respond, or fear of response, and they have worked with AI so much that they're not in fear of how AI is going to respond, because the AI is not going to judge them. And I can see how that would be the case, right? Again, we have to monitor that and figure out what the right sort of level that should play, but it's real, and AI therapy is real. So, and if it's additive, and if it helps people, if it improves, people's mental health, then we should leverage it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk about 6G again. Because I like the way you classified or defined 6G as the first iteration of our industry that's native AI.
Right.
And I have this conversation with many people about 5G.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, and I'll be honest, and I've had service providers from all over the world, customers of ours, and the general consensus was, with the story for 5G to the end consumer from the service provider, we didn't get it quite right. It sort of became an arms race. This is the latency I have, this is the speed, this is the feed, this is the coverage.
Right.
As opposed to what the demonstrable end consumer benefits could be.
Right.
What's your take now on 6G, how you've announced it today, how you're positioning it, and the ultimate story that you're thinking about on that generative?
Sure.
shift?
Well, I think the big false narrative around 5G was, what is the killer app? What is the killer use case?
Yeah.
The killer use case is it's enabled you to watch YouTube for 24 hours a day if you want to, with low latency and no buffering, and it's about massive data. Like that's what 5G did. The data uses, data consumption has like something like 10x or 20x or 100x. That's what 5G enabled. It enabled massive data to come through those pipes, and it enabled the world to do whatever they want, whenever they want, from wherever they want, with their devices. And it enabled that expansion beyond the phone to enable that connectivity, right? And so that's what the killer use case was. So that's a great thing, because we wouldn't have, our experiences would not be what they are without 5G, right? And now that we have the attention span of TikTok, we would not be able to operate in a 4G world with everything that exists today. There's no way. People would have freaked out, right? And so that was 5G. 6G is really about, like I said, it's the first AI native sort of network architecture. And part of that is because it will become a sensing network. And it will see what you see, hear what you hear, and then enable experiences around that. And especially from your personal perspective, your little personal, we call it the ecosystem of you, which is you and the devices that are surrounding you. Your smartphone, your glasses, your ring, your watch, your earbuds, your computer, your car. And how you interact with AI and how you interact with your digital world in that context. So it's going to be really important that all of that sensing capability and the AI nativeness of the network architecture supports that. Whether it's on device, near edge, or edge cloud, or cloud, it's going to be really important for that. And so it is a transformational sort of generation, just like 5G was. But it is really about doing all these things at scale. It's about massive uplink, so that we talked about your buddy, your companion. Imagine walking through your day with a pair of glasses on, and AI is anticipating your world because it sees what you see. Imagine seeing what you see and then broadcasting it back to your friend or your partner or your wife or your whatever, saying, "Hey, I'm here. Like, can you see? What should I do? I'm in the grocery store. I need to buy stuff. Oh no, don't get that milk. Get that milk," because of the massive uplink capabilities, right? The agenticness of everything. All of that without 6G. It's not going to be possible. And so what our story is to mobile operators, you mentioned mobile operators, and I realized that the infrastructure, costs and challenges of deploying 5G at scale was daunting and heavy. And in some cases, especially in highly regulated markets, the operators felt like they couldn't monetize that to the full extent. And then uprising of the hyperscalers, right, and the OTT folks kind of disintermediating the operators was a hard pill to swallow. This is their chance to come back from that, right? This is their chance to become hyperscalers themselves. It's you're no longer a mobile operator. You're no longer a telco. You're an AI operator. And if you can embrace that,
I love that.
Right? If you can embrace that, then you now have a very important role to play. You're not a dumb pipe. Right? You are an AI native, agentic, right? Enabler of this next generation of the world that we're going to live in. And so that's pretty exciting. And that's what our release said today. And that's why we had so many partners join it. And Cristiano gives a keynote tomorrow, our CEO. I encourage you and whoever's here at MWC listening to go see it. But he's going to talk about this point of gone are the days of the telco, right? It's, you need to transition to become an AI operator. And this is, and like a lot of things, right? This is happening in China now. Every single China operator is a hyperscaler already. So they figured it out.
And even what we notice in China, to your point, and I don't want to call it sentient, but they've kind of gone a different way in AI with a focus on more physical manifestations of AI.
Absolutely, yeah. And we kind of, it's hard to categorize AI, but we have our personal AI story, which we just talked about. It's really about the ecosystem of you and the stuff around you. We have physical AI, and that has to do with things like autonomy. That's where kind of robotics fits in. And some of the auto stuff, as well as, the drone, some of the drone stuff, everything, the physical AI piece. And then you've got like the industrial and enterprise kind of stuff. So you can slice it and dice it into multiple categories, but that's how we kind of look at it as well, and how it manifests itself. And yes, it's all going to happen. And you're going to need this architecture. You're going to need this AI native network architecture to enable all that, right? Imagine like a humanoid robot like in your home, and training just on your behaviors and on your sort of layout and your footprint and things like that. In that case, you're not going to want that data to leave you. Either the robot itself or your home network. Well, how do we enable that? How do we enable the robot to sense things around your home, with your kind of Wi-Fi 8 plus 6G sort of footprint that's in your home? So all those things are super important, and that's what's really coming. And so I know there's this sort of like, oh my gosh, 5G, we had to spend all this money, made a build this network, and now you're talking about a 6G, but there is a massive difference, and I think that's the story. And people are starting to realize that.
I think it's a great
There's going to be new players too, right? And so the AWSs of the world and the Microsofts of the world, they're looking at this, and they're part of our release as well. So everybody's seeing it, and we think it's quite exciting, and that's the story that Cristiano's going to tell tomorrow.
That's brilliant. I love the story. This is the 20th year anniversary of Barcelona and MWC.
Yeah.
And prior to that, it was in Cannes.
It was. I was there.
I'm
dating myself now, but I was there.
And I was in the devices business. We did a lot of work with Qualcomm. I was at Motorola. And I was at LG and Nokia as well. And those shows back in that time frame were hardware shows.
Yeah, for the most part.
We announced the latest devices. I remember announcing the Razer in Cannes before it moved here. I can't believe that was 20 years ago. Is this new 6G world that you're envisaging, it brings back that physical hardware into this arena?
Sure.
More than, because I haven't seen anything yet, it's day one, but I'm seeing, to your point, the robots here, all sorts of stuff going on there with different things. The booth here with a hairdryer.
Right.
I don't want to say hardware's coming back because it's never gone out, but there's something now uniquely different and interesting that this new 6G story enables, right?
Yeah, I think 6G plus AI, right? This whole story together is enabling a whole ecosystem of new device manifestations, right? So, we're working with, I think, at least 10 companies that are making a different type of device. That will be either a adjunct to another device or a standalone device, and they're going to take different form factors. We're already seeing the rings and the bands and the glasses are fantastic. I just took off my Meta Ray-Bans for this podcast, and then the new Meta glasses with the heads-up display. It's incredible, right? So all of that is going to be enabled by all of this technology, and so it is creating, I guess, a renewed interest and a renewed sort of buzz around the devices category, where maybe over the past maybe 5 to 10 years, when it just came to the smartphone, it was sort of a sea of sameness, right? It was an incrementalism, iteration, but not innovation. And I think we're going to see a real innovation sort of push now, and some are going to work and some aren't. But man, it's exciting.
No, it is, and I think the way you've defined it gets me thinking about it now, because Google has surreptitiously put Gemini into my watch now.
Yes.
It's there. I'm speaking to it. I'm using it. It's on my TV at home. Gemini.
Right.
It's there.
It'll be in your glasses.
It'll be in my glasses.
Right.
It will be infused in everything. And then that opens up, like you said, such an exciting array of new use cases.
Right.
For humanity. This is like super mega exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty exciting. There's always going to be the naysayers and the laggards, but it's for us because we have a unique advantage where we get to see a lot of this stuff multiple years before it comes to market or it's commercialized. And so, maybe we're a little excited ahead of the curve because we do get to see it, but it's pretty exciting. And we're going to move beyond novelty to practicality. And speaking of the glasses space, right now we've got the Meta Ray-Bans and the Oakleys and the next generation Meta glasses. And, we announced with Google and Samsung and, the mixed reality stuff. And then, and there's a lot more coming. But I met with like a Finnish company, I think a few months ago, who are making AI glasses that actually help you correct your vision.
Wow.
And so you don't have to buy separate readers or separate this. It automatically adjusts.
Wow.
Again, using technology.
Yeah.
And again, super useful, right?
Yeah.
Beyond just information, but, helping to correct a physical problem.
Yeah.
And so you're going to see a lot of that.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then the last question I have for you here, and then we'll go into our fun quick fire round, Don,
Sure.
which we've introduced, and I think you'll like. I remember talking about the history of Barcelona. How many years ago was it? 18 years ago, when I was at Motorola.
Right.
I was invited to the Snapdragon party.
Okay.
And it was in the stock exchange.
Stock exchange, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the best part. I won't say, we like to think we do a good party, but that was the best party I've been to. And Snapdragon is still a very prominent brand.
Yes.
It's still, give me what's your thinking on Snapdragon as a historical success and where it's moving?
Well, since we last did have our party, which was a while ago, it was a great party though, right?
Oh, it was mega. Yeah,
we should bring that back.
Yeah.
I think people would enjoy it. Snapdragon obviously has grown and expanded, and we have decided consciously to push it into the cultural zeitgeist of consumer land. And myself and Cristiano agreed that even though it's a challenging thing because you can't walk into a store and buy a Snapdragon, so to speak, that we were going to make it a consumer brand, and we were going to communicate to people why they should know who we are, why we matter, what we do, and care. Yeah. And so we've been on that journey for the last 5 years and made huge strides. And as a marketer, you have to put the recipe together to achieve that goal. And we've made massive progress in that, ultimately leading to like KPIs like showing up on Kantar's Brand Z top 100 brands in the world list at number 38 for Snapdragon specifically, and then showing up on Interbrand 100 on the Interbrand 100 as a company for the first time in 40 years. That is a testament to the work that we've done. And you see us, you see Snapdragon sort of out in the world, everything from the front of shirt of Manchester United, which I just came from Manchester yesterday, where the Red Devils won their sixth out of 7 matches and moved to number 3 in the Premier League, which is fantastic. To at retail, at a Best Buy or at a Curry's or at a Media Market when it comes to Snapdragon in the PC. So it is out there in every part of the funnel and every part of the value chain. And we're really achieving great strides. So super excited about where we're headed, what we've done so far, the success we've had. We've built a community around it. We have over 20 million Snapdragon insiders around the world that love the brand, talk about the brand, defend the brand. So community has been a big part of the mix there. And we're gonna keep pushing, and we got a hill to climb to reach that Nike swoosh status with the Fireball, but that's where we're aiming.
No, it is. It's a remarkable story, and despite I'm a Liverpool supporter.
I'm sorry.
I know. So the Manchester, but I'll tell you a story.
Do you know the new stadium is being built in Manchester so that you could see it all the way from Liverpool?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it is amazing to see Snapdragon on
front of
a
kit.
football shirt. I mean, it's incredible, and it is resonating with people.
Oh, it's probably that front of kit is probably the most coveted piece of sports marketing real estate in the world. Because the exposure that kit gives my brand in a season
Yeah.
of English Premier League and cups and whatnot is the equivalent of 140 Super Bowl ads
Wow.
of exposure.
Yeah. Because Manchester United.
And I got to tell you, it's a lot cheaper than buying 140 Super Bowl ads.
No, I bet.
But it is the ROI has been amazing. The club is amazing to work with. The storytelling that we've done, the innovation that we put into the contract, the way we've leveraged it, it's been fantastic.
No, it's great. And I think it drives an inquisitiveness in the consumer base. So me and my son will sit there and we'll watch Liverpool, Manchester United. And he said to me, I remember him saying to me, so Standard Chartered is on Liverpool's shirt. What's that? I said, it's like a bank. He was like, oh, okay. And he said, Snapdragon, because it sounds good to him as well.
It's a cool brand.
It sounds great. He said, is on the Manchester United shirt. What do they do? I said, well, they're in the same business as Daddy. They power technology. And he was like, cool.
Yes, cool.
That was his word.
I love that.
He just went, cool.
Yeah, banks aren't cool.
Yeah, and I said, but I don't want to disappoint you. I am not buying you that shirt. Because, you know,
that's a no-no.
It's my father would disown me if that happened.
I understand. That's a no-no. The passion, which is part of the reason why we love what we do with Manchester United, is just English Premier League, just the passion, the generational attachment to clubs is, you know, it's amazing. I mean, we have something similar with the NFL in the U.S. where, you know, if you grew up an Eagles fan and your father was an Eagles fan, your mother was an Eagles, we have a little bit of that, but it's not to the same level, I don't think, as some of these EPL clubs.
Yeah. No, and I live in North America now, and the one thing I miss from England is the Premier League. I used to be a season ticket holder at Liverpool.
Oh, nice.
And Liverpool-Manchester United was
That's a big match.
Crazy match.
So because they're so close. Well, probably second to the derby.
Well, I
the Man City, Manchester United
because
derby.
they're the two most successful British teams,
right?
And there's always
over the years,
there's always a animosity between Liverpool and Manchester as cities as well. So
because they're regionally sort of so close.
Yeah. So it always builds up, but that's fantastic. Now, we'll close things out in a minute, Don. I really enjoyed our conversation.
By the way, Liverpool's a lovely place.
Oh, you like Liverpool?
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
It's a nice place.
Yeah. I miss it. I've got, and it's close to Manchester as well. So
it's very close. Yeah,
30 minutes.
I didn't realize that until I actually spent time in Manchester, which is another amazing city.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize how close they were.
Wow, they're really close.
Yeah,
and you see, historically, what it was Manchester was the cotton trade, the Industrial Revolution, and Liverpool was the port that everything came in and out of. So they were even connected.
And then everything came up the river.
Everything came up the Manchester Ship Canal.
Right.
That's why you see the boat on the Manchester City and
and the bee. And the bee is everywhere in Manchester. The worker bee.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
And Oasis is from Manchester.
And Oasis, you see. And then Liverpool always get us up to we had the Beatles.
The Beatles.
And they turn around and said, well, we had Oasis. Yeah. And then it turns into this thing all the time, even with fashion. Even with the fashion brands.
Super healthy, though.
Yeah, it's super good.
A lot of things for both cities to be proud of.
Yeah, exactly. So we're almost done. What we do now, Don, we do our quick fire round.
Sure.
And I'm going to give you two choices. It's just so we can close things out with a bit of fun, get to know you a little bit better.
Great.
And I've just got random two things, and I ask you, and you give me your preference.
Okay.
On those ones. So here's TGI to go.
Okay, let's do it.
TGI to go.
So the first one I was going to ask you, I think we've said it already, was Liverpool or Manchester?
I think we know the answer to that question. Both are lovely, as I said, but I got to go with Manchester.
That's fair enough. I get it. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Do you have a dog?
Yes, 2.
Oh, what breed?
We have a black lab.
Yeah.
His name is Riley.
Yeah.
He's the best dog in the world. He's so calm and so nice and so sweet. And we have a 3-year-old miniature golden doodle who is insane.
Yeah, really?
He is so funny. He's got the best personality in the world. But he is crazy. He's a crazy dog. Yeah. So I've had dogs my entire life, and we used to have 3. We had a yellow lab as well, who passed away a few years ago. But yeah, I'm a dog person. Yeah,
me 100%. I'm a dog person. I miss my dog being here. Barcelona's a dog city.
Yeah, it seems like that, right?
People with their dogs.
Yeah, everywhere.
I start pining for the dog. I'll call my wife and say, how's the dog? She says, what do you want to ask how your kids are first? Or maybe me. I'm like, oh yeah, how are you? Anyway, that's great. If you were going out for a drink tonight, would you order the Carver or the Sangria?
Carver.
Have you been anywhere nice so far? Any nice restaurants, or was it all
This trip?
Yeah.
Well, I just arrived last night, so I haven't been really out much.
Yeah.
But I have my favorites here in Barcelona for sure.
Yeah.
There's some great food here. It's a foodie place.
Yeah. Basketball or football?
American football?
We'll say American football because I think we covered this. But no, let's say soccer as well. Or well, let's throw all of them in: basketball, football, and soccer.
Okay, I would say American football first,
Yeah.
global football second, basketball third.
And you live in San Diego, right?
I do.
So you're. It's not the Chargers anymore. They moved to LA, right?
Yeah, we don't have an NFL team anymore, but I'm actually a huge fan of college football. I really like college football. So I've got my affinities to the University of Notre Dame.
Right.
They're my favorite team.
Yeah.
But I'm a big college football fan. I was a Chargers fan before they abandoned us. But now the NFL to me is a nice to watch, but I don't have a particular team that I root for anymore.
Yeah. You know, just an interesting side note. Before we rebranded and the whole Make It Amazing thing, if you remember the Amdocs color palette was based on the San Diego Chargers because our brand guy, Kevin Corcoran, that's where he was from.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Just a little side note.
That's a good color combo.
Yeah. Instagram or TikTok? Which one do you frequent?
Instagram.
Yeah, me too. And would you rather go for a weekend in Nashville or Phoenix?
Nashville.
Yeah. It's good city.
Good city.
Yeah.
Music is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun. People are very nice.
Yeah.
Love Nashville.
Yeah, it's a great place. So I want to thank you, Don, for joining us again 5 years after your inaugural appearance.
Thank you.
I want to wish you the best with everything Qualcomm has got. I think it sounds awesome, and I'm not just saying that. It really sounds fantastic what you've got.
Thank you. Well, come by the booth, check it out.
Oh, definitely am. Definitely am.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
And I want to wish you a successful week.
Thank you, you too.
The beginning of the week, and there's a long way to go.
That's right. Hopefully your voice holds up. Mine rarely does. I usually lose it by day 2.
Yeah. Well, but you know what happens? This is what happens to me. It's a funny story. I've never said this on air before. I record 20-25 podcasts over the 4 days.
Right.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
And then I find myself like in podcast mode.
Okay.
So I'll go back home and I'll be like to one of my kids, so tell me what you think the future of 5G is going to enable in relation to education. They're like, what the heck? What's happening?
Who are you?
Yeah. So it's great. This is a really great start to the week. And
thank you for me as well.
Thank you for coming on, Don. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you, Don. Thank you for joining us again on The Great Indoors, albeit with a 5-year gap. And I think that gap's great because it gives us so much more to talk about. So I look forward to seeing you again. And I think Qualcomm have had a wonderful show, great booth, great announcements. The brand is on fire. So I wish you and all the teams at Qualcomm all the best moving forward. So thank you very much. Now we're powering through these episodes from Barcelona. What a week it's been, really fantastic. And there's more to come. It just keeps getting better. And if you've missed any of these past episodes, or even episodes of yesteryear, maybe the one featuring Don back in 2021, you can find them on amdocs.com/The Great Indoors, where we also host a rich array of glittering assets that support the podcast and the series to date. You can also find us, of course, on every known podcast channel on the planet. And please subscribe, please rate, please review. It helps us, or even forward to your best friend or family member. So we'll keep going here in Barcelona. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm Matthew Roberts for Amdocs here in Barcelona. And have a great day wherever you are.